I was talking to one of my patients, and I don't know how old this person was, but older, definitely deficient of youth. And she said, "You guys don't charge us, right?" And I said, "No, no. You got this insurance, and it's covered 100%. As long as you have like a medical reason for us to come out, and you do." And she goes, "Okay," because they called and they said, they said my name and said that I have a past due balance of $801. And I was like, "Oh, no, who called you?" And she was like, that the hospital called and said that I had a past due amount. And I told them, I was like, "I've never got a bill. So I don't know how it could be past due." And I was like, "You must have the wrong person." And they're like, "Okay, so what, your name is this?" And they said her first, middle, and last name. She said yes. And they gave her her birthday, and she was like, "Yes." And they were like, "Well, that's it. That's you. It's that's your past due to pay. So how do you want to pay it or whatever?" And I don't know where it went from there, but the lady said, the person on the phone goes, "Hold on just a second. Wait a second. Okay, what's your social security number?" And I'm sitting here listening to this story, and I'm like, "Okay, when do you put a stop to this?" And she goes, and she said, "So I gave them my social security number." Okay. And then the person on the phone goes, "Wow, you're right. Okay, so sorry. So this patient that has the past due had your same first, middle, and last name, same birthday, and the exact same social security number except for the last digit. So we are so sorry to bother you. It wasn't you. Have a wonderful day." And I'm just sitting there like, my mouth is wide open probably. I'm like, is she joking? 100% that's what happened. And when I'm telling you, this is not a dumb lady. This lady lives in a very nice house in a very nice neighborhood. And I'm pretty sure she has an advanced degree. Have you guys noticed that you're getting a lot more of these calls too? What we need to, so I have to answer my phone all the time. So even when it's a number I don't know, it could be a family member, like of a patient. So I have to answer the phone, and I get these calls. And I used to mess with these guys. I would love it. I would keep them on the phone as long as I could, just take up their time, just waste their time like they're wasting other people's time. I've had a guy on the phone for like 30 minutes before. I made him think I got in the car, and I went down to Walgreens and I got a green dot card, and I was about to pay him. And I kept saying, like, he said I owed like $500 or something. He was like with the IRS, he said. And I told him, I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm there. I'm in the car. I'm at the Walgreens. I'm almost there. Sorry, I had to stop and do something." Or I kept him on the phone. I kept messing with him. I get there, and I go, "Oh no, I've only got 400 or whatever." And he's like, "400's fine. We'll call it even, 400." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I did something else. I kept lowering it down. I was like, "Oh, I forgot. I got to get like laundry detergent or something." He's like, That's fine. Just go ahead." And he's like, he's going crazy. And then I finally said, "Man, how can you do this to people? How can you take money from these old, people that have worked hard their whole life, and they're trusting, and how do you take advantage of them like this?" And this guy flipped out. He said, he goes, "Oh, you mother effer." He goes, "Go kill yourself." He told me to kill myself. Anyway, so that was great. And my wife, she sits there next to me while I'm talking to these people. Oh, my favorite thing to do is just kind of play along with them, like they say they're from AT&T or whatever company that I don't even have. And I stay on the phone with them, and I'll just be like, "Oh yeah." And if it's a guy, he'll say like, "Hi, my name is William, and I'm with AT&T." Well, I go along with the call, but the entire time I say "ma'am" to everything. And he always kind of pauses for a second, but he keeps going. And anyway, Well, we can't do that anymore. I can't mess with them anymore because what they're doing is they are keeping you on the phone as long as they can. And I've noticed this, like they don't even try to get off the phone anymore. They keep you on the phone, and apparently they are recording your voice, and they're using AI to take your voice and then use it. Say you're a grandpa or grandma or whatever, they are going to take your voice and they're going to call a grandkid and say they need help, or the other way around. They take our voice and they call our grandparents and say, hey, we need this. Can you send it via, whatever, like a Cash App or something. So I can't mess around with those guys anymore. So we need to, we kind of have a responsibility to take care of our patients, not just, their wounds and their whatever, but, them, because they are, a little more vulnerable. They're a little more willing to hand over sensitive information because they do it all the time. There are a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of like insurance stuff. They talk about this stuff all the time. And when I'm at people's houses, I hear them all the time. Their phones, their home phones ringing, their cell phones ringing, their husband's wife's phones ringing, and no one's answering phones. I'm like, you can answer if you need. And they're like, oh, it's a scam call. And they're just used to it. Just 30 calls an hour. Like, it's nuts. It happens to my parents. Anyway, so yeah, like, tell your patients, tell them, we're not going to call them like that. The hospital's not going to call and say that they owe money and that they need their personal information or anything like that. They're going to send them a bill, or the person's going to come in when they're in the hospital room and take care of all that, their insurance card or after their appointments. No one's going to call them and ask for information off the phone. So just help them out, let them know that stuff. Yeah, you guys want to hear some scary stories? Quick segment called What's the Stinkiest Thing You Smelled This Week? Brought to you by Stink Bomb Odor Blocker. Please go to stinkbombodorblocker.com. Use code Josh10, get your 10% off. Give your nose a break. If you work in healthcare, it needs it. Stinkiest thing that I've smelled this week, and I strongly, strongly do not recommend, is leaving worms like that you go fishing with in the back of your car. Even Stink Bomb can't handle that. Had to throw the car away. All right, please leave a comment of what the stinkiest thing is you smelled recently. Whatever it is, I want to know. Okay, let's get a little spooky. Yeah. Okay, so this is a story this is a first-hand story. A lady gave me patient's spouse who used to be a nurse. And this is an old story, but it was like fresh on her mind. She probably tells the story all the time. And so she used to be a nurse, and she was working in a hospital, and she had a patient, and she said the patient was like fine. She got her tucked in, no problem. She wasn't there for anything big, and the lady was probably just going to sleep all night. She said it was like a great patient. She got her tucked in, ready for bed, and she turned the light off, and the lady like freaked out. She goes, turn it back on, turn it back on, turn it back on, turn it back on. And she's like, okay, sorry. And she's like, just leave the light on, okay? And she's like, okay. And so she left her. Everything was fine. She came back doing her hourly rounds or whatever, and came back in, checked on her. She looked like she was about half asleep. And she's like, you need anything? She's like, no. And so she just, from habit, turned the light off. And the lady freaked out again. She's like, turn it back on, turn it back on. And she's like, what's going on? And she goes, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not like a ghost person or whatever, but when you turn the lights off in this room, because I tried to do it myself, but when I turn the lights off, I feel like there's someone standing right there in that corner in the dark. And I can't see them, but it's like I see them in my head, or like I feel them or something. And she's like, okay, do you want me to keep all the lights on because it's really bright? Do you want me to, keep the one over the sink? And she goes, just keep them all off. Keep them all on for now. And if I fall asleep, maybe you can, sneak in and turn some of them off. And she's like, okay. So she kept all the lights on, and she did. She came back through and she saw that the lady was completely asleep, and so she went ahead, she turned off the big lights. She kept the light over the sink on. Came back around again, and she saw that she saw the lady's lights were all back on. And so she went in there and she goes, are you okay? Did you see the, whatever again? she goes, I didn't see anything, but there is a woman who stands in the dark whenever you turn the lights off. And I don't know how to explain it. I'm not like a spiritual whatever, I don't see ghosts or any of that kind of stuff. I'm not one of those people. But anytime you turn that light off for like 5 minutes later, I know there was someone standing in that dark corner, and her name is Chris. And the nurse, the lady that told me the story, nurse, said that just like punched her in the stomach, because there was a nurse that used to work there with them, and her name was Chris. And she had worked there forever, and she had passed away recently, I guess. And she goes, oh my goodness. And she's just like, it just knocked the wind out of me. I love it. It's cool. One reason I love that story so much is because the way she said that she didn't see the ghost or whatever, the lady Chris, she didn't see her, but she kind of like saw it in her head and knew she was there. Because that's my only real ghost experience I've ever had, was the same way. I had a patient who coded, and he was a young fella. He coded from sleep apnea. And it was real sad. Nobody saw it coming. Like he didn't have any family on file or anything like that. He was there for, I forget exactly who he was there for. But anyway, and he died out of absolutely nowhere. And within like 30 minutes of me being in the room, I was in there checking on him. He said he was good. And then out of nowhere, there was a code. Anyway, when I was, after we were done with the code, which was terrible, I went back into the room. I was going back and forth to, we had all the stuff wrote down on the window, which we do, like when a medication was given, when we, shocked or whatever, all the stuff is written down on the window with a dry erase marker. And so I was out in the hall charting. The man is still laying in bed. And I remember I opened the door to walk in, to go back in and write down some of the stuff so I could go put it in the computer out in the hall. I opened the door, and the bathroom door slammed, just slammed. And it had startled me, and I stepped out for a second and I looked. I remember it was during shift change, and there was a bunch of people. I was like, you guys just heard that bathroom slam, right? And they said, yeah, it's like, it's because you opened the door. You made a little vacuum thing, and you're just freaking yourself out. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But then I was thinking, no, we open those doors all the time. They never do a vacuum thing. They never make another door slam, ever. Open that door a million times. And in my mind's eye, like in my brain, inside there somewhere, I see that man closing that bathroom door like I saw it. I don't know how to explain that, but that is exactly what it is. And that's my ghost story. And I'll never forget that. It was pretty crazy. Hey, if you guys got any ghost stories, hook me up so I can tell them, please. Josh Evers Nurse at gmail.com. Hey, thank you guys so much. I'm going to try to start doing this every week. Football's over pretty much, so any stories you got, actually, if you got funny stories, if you got whatever. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening, if you're just listening, whatever. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. And please, if you could, it really helps me out if you hit that like button, if you hit the subscribe button down there. Anyway, no matter what you're doing, thank you for watching. And I really appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great shift.